Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today is the back and biceps workout. And as you can see, I'm starting out with an all-time classic exercise. Actually, an exercise that I haven't done in quite a while. I remember back in the past that this was a very easy task to accomplish, pulling your own body weight, but as I got heavier, I have to say that it became a lot more difficult. So anyway, pull-ups are a great exercise, if not one of the best exercises for overall back development, but especially if you look closely at my back, it's good for the stretch. And I'm not going all the way up because I simply feel my arms being messed up if I try to force myself all the way up. So I really emphasize the stretch with these pull-ups. And if you are a lighter body weight, you can always add some body weight to yourself so that you can do at least 10 reps. If you can go more than 10 reps, you should add some weight. And the next exercise is the seated row. As some of you guys know, I want to work on my back thickness. The width is pretty good, but if you want to improve the back thickness, it is all about the rowing exercises. But when I do a rowing exercise, I also like to stretch the back. This makes it a 2-in-1 exercise. The rowing movement ensures back thickness. If you look closely at the contraction right here, you want to contract your back because that'll actually enhance the thickness effect of any sort of row. But with this full stretch, you not only extend the range of motion, but also the time under tension, and you also include the lats a lot more. So both for back width and thickness, this exercise is very suitable for. And then you see me wearing a belt right here because if you stretch like me all the way down, you will feel some strain in your lower back if you're not careful. So especially when you're doing this exercise for the first time, make sure to wear a belt or not stretch as far as I am. This is another exercise though, the wide grip seated row. And notice that I'm not stretching far as much as the regular seated row because here I really want to work on the thickness and the thickness alone. But never underestimate what your back can tolerate. So don't sit straight up and don't skip the stretch when you think you gotta work on the back thickness alone. You always want to ensure that you stretch the back as much as you can in order to enhance all the muscles of your back and not just a few ones that aid in the contraction. So what I'm doing right here, again, I'm wearing a belt because this one is a little more lower back strenuous if you stretch out too much, but I'm going to protect it by using proper form and a belt at the same time. But this exercise, you notice that if you go too heavy, you won't be able to put your shoulder blades together, aka contract your back. If you can't do that anymore, you know that you're going too heavy. And this is the reverse lat pull down. I'm actually using a neutral or hammer grip. I like that a lot more than a regular lat pull down grip because it actually puts less strain on the biceps in my opinion, and it feels different. And this reverse lat pull down, the reason why I call it reverse is because I'm sitting on the bench, on that little bench right there, reverse, so I don't have anything to support my body weight, so there's no way for me to cheat, because if I do cheat and go up too fast, it'll simply take my body weight with it and it'll look really weird. So you got to control the motion. I decided to wear a belt right here, but it only looks a little cool, but it didn't really add any effect. Just wanted to see what the reason was why so many bodybuilders use a belt on a lat pull down, and I really have to say it kind of restricted my motion, so I would advise against it. But now these are paused barbell rows. I saw Antoine Vaillant do these ones with a lot heavier weight, of course, but this is at the end of my workout, and I have to say I really like this. I did these before, tested them out, and the contraction you get on here is incredible. You don't get as much as a stretch on this one, but as you saw in all the previous exercises, the stretch has been applied to every one of them. So if you want to work on the thickness, at least do one exercise that really focuses on the contraction and not as much the stretch, and that's what I'm doing right here. This is a lot harder than it looks. That's why I'm only adding 5 kilogram plates to each side, because trust me, if you add too much weight, it'll simply be impossible to do it correctly. And that was it for the back exercises, and now it is time for the straight barbell curls. You have a straight barbell and an easy curl barbell. The difference is that the straight barbell is straight and it keeps your wrists straight as well, and when that happens you contract the biceps harder. So I would always advise, if you're doing a regular barbell curl, so no close grip barbell curl, that you actually take the straight bar, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then you don't want to go too heavy either, because you want to be able to control the weight. You want to contract the biceps and not swing your body too much. Of course, there's always going to be some movement, even when I'm having good form right here. If you look closely, my upper body is moving a little bit, but it's just a natural way for your body to accomplish a task like a curl. So don't worry about that too much, but if you go too heavy, you will notice your shoulders aching, your lower back aching, and that is not what you want, because you want to work the biceps. And then it's time for some cable concentration curls. I really like these ones. This basically is an entirely different exercise compared to the concentration curls with a dumbbell. Why? Well, if you experience both of them, you will know what I mean. The contraction, the tension, the stretch, they're all different on this version of the concentration curl. You literally feel tension throughout the entire motion. And I actually got this exercise from Rich Piana, so I was thinking about him. I watched some of those videos of him, and I saw this one, so I really wanted to try it out again. And it's simply an awesome exercise to do to get a bicep peak. There are 2 types of contractions you can do with the biceps. You can do a regular contraction, or you can do a deep point contraction that really enhances the peak of the biceps. And the only way to really achieve a contraction like this is on an isolation exercise with one arm, such as the concentration curl. Some of you might know what I'm talking about, some of you might not. It really depends on your mind-muscle connection, the connection you got with the contraction of your muscles, but you can really contract your biceps so hard that it actually hurts, and that is what you want to achieve during this exercise. And I don't only want to work on the peak, but I also want to work on the bicep thickness. So that's why I'm doing some rope hammer curls right here, to ensure the brachialis of the biceps is increasing in size. That'll actually enhance the front view thickness of the biceps. As you can see, the side thickness and the size is quite alright, but from the front it looks very different, a lot smaller in my opinion. It's all a matter of perspective. But if you want to optimize the perspective in all possible perspectives, you gotta work on those angles. If you look at your body in the mirror and you see some weak points, even though you might have great biceps, from the front they look a little weak, there are ways to fix it, guys. For example, doing an exercise like this, the rope hammer curls. This enhances the muscle of the biceps that's below the bicep heads, and if that bicep grows under those heads, it'll actually increase the width of your entire biceps, making your arms look more massive from the front. Anyway guys, that was the short and sweet but simple video of today. I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.